Hi everyone, I got on my Tumblr the last couple days and I was gonna ask, hey, what did you guys want to learn about for Trek Tuesday? And I got distracted with a post that I saw. And yeah, I kind of nerded out all over it. So we're gonna talk about that. Topic of today's discussion, Galaxy-class starships. They are monstrous in terms of like the ship. They are huge. I mean, Borg Cube in and of itself is big, and the Voth ship is big, and But really, and the Krenim vessel, that was big. But they're meant to be, like, larger than life. The Galaxy class is intended, like I said, to be sort of like an ultimate achievement. You've got, like Voyager and Intrepid class, which is designed as kind of a science vessel. In Star Trek Online, it's called a long-range science vessel. You've got the Defiant, which is an escort. It's a tiny little ship, packs a lot of power, that's not meant to do much of anything else. The Galaxy class is like weapons and defenses, and it's a cruiser. It's a full-on cruiser. It's not a carrier, it's a cruiser. So think of like Earth and our boats, the ships. And the largest thing we have that's not a carrier, but the largest one we have. People think, oh, the Galaxy class is like a cruise liner. No, it's not. It's a cruise liner that can own you. So what brought this technically all up is someone posted about the Avenger class and that it was ugly. And thus I looked through the person's, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. Well, I understand, blah, 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 deep space science vessel, blah, blah, blah. That I have in Star Trek Online. People think it's ugly. The Avenger class in Star Trek Online. Other people think that's ugly, yada, yada. But then I went searching through the person, Tumblr downstairs, if you want to just browse it. I wound up seeing their stuff, and I was like, whatever, follow. It's not, it's not, anything adult-oriented, but it's starships. Anyways, so I found the gift set in Sacrifice of Angels, Deep Space Nine episode, and it shows the Galor class, sounded like this, and it shows the Galaxy class coming in like this. Well, for you guys, it'd be the Galar class is coming in like this, and the Galaxy class is spinning up like this. But then one comes in from this side, and its top, the phaser banks, the top part, it shoots one out and then shoots another one out. It shoots twice from the same array because it's huge. People didn't realize. See, I've read the technical manual, I've read the encyclopedia, I've read all this stuff. Someone actually asked, why was the saucer section on the Galaxy classes in Sacrifice of Angels and major other battles in the Dominion War? And I'm like, okay. Because, one, the saucer section, because Mom has that cutaway of the Enterprise D, technically of a Galaxy class in general, but it's got one computer core in the star drive section. That computer core is the engineering computer core. Yeah, it controls power regulation and warp field stability and, torpedo launching and stuff like that, and all the stuff that the star drive section is meant to do. But, the saucer section is where like sick bay and the science labs and all that happiness is, and they have a starboard and a port. I probably got that backward. Computer core. So you've got 3 computer cores. Now there is the rumor that any computer core can actually run the entire ship, but you'd much rather have 3. Also, like I stated on the Tumblr post, why wouldn't you? I mean, yes, I get it. The families and the living situation, all that stuff, are on the saucer section. Well, why would you put that many people in danger? Well, here's the thing. When they were being pursued by Q and Encounter at Farpoint, they didn't know that was going to happen. And they thought, hey, there's danger, let's save the families. Saucer separate, saucer flies off towards Farpoint, star drive turns around. That was logical. In Best of Both Worlds, they separated because they wanted to have 2 targets for the Borg cube to attack. That's why they did that. And it is an extra power. Yes, there is the battle bridge in the star drive section, but if you look, it's a tiny little bridge. It's intended to just be, a secondary bridge. It's not a alternative primary bridge, it's a secondary. Also, in Generations, they did separate, but that was necessarily to save everyone. They evacuated the saucer section because the warp core was blowing up. Those are all very extreme circumstances. In Sacrifice of Angels, they didn't decouple because, one, You're not putting families in danger. They didn't like, oh my god, we're in the middle of a fight all of a sudden. They planned this a couple days out. If they're getting like, oh here, we're at Starbase, let's get all of our torpedoes because we're going to a major engagement in like 3 days, and it's going to take us a day to get there, yada yada. Get the families off. They got the families off. You know? Look at all those crew quarters. You could just package your torpedoes in. That's what Aaron suggests. Anyways, but think about that. Why would you take the families to a battle situation if you can control it? Well, still, it makes it a bigger target. Well, yes, it is a bigger target. But you have to remember, you've got a saucer section. And, you know, that's the saucer section. That is the phaser array on the top and on the bottom. That is a versatile phaser array. And it can, and if you saw it, I'll put links down to various videos that show how versatile this phaser, the dorsal and ventral phaser array are on the saucer section. You know, not to mention you're going to want to get the warp core in the back section powering those, not the dinky little fusion engines that are on the 2 impulse drives. It's like, what the? You got the power regulation stuff that's in the engineering computer core, but if you want tactical on the fly, you've got 2 computer cores right there that can control. One can control the bottom, one can control the top, one can control the left, one can control the right. You've got computer cores, and this is Star Trek computer cores here. We keep adding more cores to our processors in the real world. Why? So our computers can do multiple things at the same time. We can't, you know. Why wouldn't you want to have that? Especially, like I said, with something that can nearly fire in 360 degrees. Fire multiple times in 360 degrees. In Star Trek Online, it doesn't necessarily allow for this too terribly much because that's game mechanics. But someone also said on the Tumblr post that as it's charging up, you've got a little emitter, you've got a bunch of little emitters around there. And they can discharge momentarily, and then they discharge kind of like a maglev, they discharge out like that, and then the next one discharges out, and the next one discharges out. So you've got all these little tiny emitters that can build up a charge, especially if you want to get a big burst, like punching through something's shields, you can go all the way from the back and or, as you'll see if you look at the Sacrifice of Angels, you'll see that it's like and shooting. These are versatile, you know. And people call it the battle section. The back end, it's a star drive section. Because that's where the engines are. That's where the main impulse engine is. It's not where the main shuttle bay is, but that's here, they're there. That's why. You know, that's a galaxy. The ship was not designed as 2 pieces put together. It's made as 1 piece that can separate in emergencies. There's much more to talk about for the Galaxy class. I'm going to put a thing downstairs to Memory Alpha. They'll talk about the Galaxy class and all of its wonders, all of its science labs. I mean, they have cetacean labs, for Christ's sake. If you don't know what a cetacean is, go watch Star Trek 4. Okay? Alright? Okay. That'll be that for today. I will chat with y'all next week. Remember, ask me stuff on Tumblr. Ask me stuff in the comments. I will explain stuff. Alright. You know? If you like the Galaxy class, you want me to explain a Defiant class, or the Sao Paulo class, or whatever they want to call what the Defiant was, or the Intrepid class, or the Hope class, or I'll even research something from Star Trek Online, even if it's a ship I don't have, like the Akira class, or the Steamrunner class. I've played enough of the games to understand what they're supposed to do. Anyways, yeah, we can just go like a whole series of me explaining the Star Trek ships. Anyways, I will catch y'all later. I have a question. Mercenary Pop-Tart. That's adorable. Now all I can think about is Solid Snake dressed as a Pop-Tart. Now I'm thinking of Nan Cat.